name is Barb Schwann, and we want to welcome you on behalf of the Riceville Community Schools and the Riceville Community School Board. We want to welcome you all to Graduation 2020. Yes, commencements this year had to be put on hold due to a pandemic, but I can guarantee you today that we are all very blessed to be here, we're all very happy to be here, and we're all very lucky to be here celebrating you, the class of 2020. What a journey it has been for you all. You were born post-11, 9/11. You have seen the digital age come as you saw the evolution of iPads, iPods, YouTube when you were 3, the first iPhones when you were 5 years old. Riceville has always been a leader in one-to-one technologies, and this class was one of the first in the state of Iowa to have one-to-one technology. They were 1 when MySpace was launched. They were 2 when Facebook started. They were 4 when Twitter began. They participated in ice bucket challenges, Watsy days, and have seen the Wildcat Trail and the Great Watsy Trail be transformed. They have seen so many successes, and there have been many challenges along the way as well. And welcome you today, I want to take time to tell you how much I admire this class of 2020. This COVID time has not been easy for you or for your parents and families. Yet here you are today. You persisted, you kept moving forward, and you have attained your diploma. That is something no one will ever take away from you. You are forever a Riceville Wildcat. You may have graduated from a small school, but remember, you have a very big voice. On behalf of the school board, let me say congratulations to you. Dream big, work hard at attaining your goals, and know that you're always welcome here in Riceville, now that you are going to become an alumni. Congratulations. At this time, I'd like to introduce our senior speakers, Sullivan Fair and Kevin Jordan. Please come to the stage.
All right, I'd like to say hi and welcome to the class of 2020 commencement ceremony. I'd like you to bear with me here. I'm not a very good public speaker. I did take public speaking online. It's about as useful as taking swimming lessons online. So I'm so grateful that we could have the opportunity to be here today to celebrate our class's accomplishments. While our ceremony is quite different when compared to previous classes, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be bad. The unfortunate circumstances that our country has and is going through at the moment almost ruin our hopes of an in-person commencement completely. So it is always good to look at the positive side of the situation and put things into perspective. Speaking of perspective, the class of 2020 has been able to experience drastic shifts in terms of entertainment, social media, and pop culture. Get the double down on Mr. Schwaman here. For example, our class grew up without the influence of social media. We were only 2 to 5 years old when things like MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, and the first iPhone were all invented. I don't think anyone could have guessed that our class would be one of the first youth generations to experience so many inventions that would eventually become almost an essential part of modern society. In addition, pop culture icons who are still relevant today, such as SpongeBob SquarePants, are older than everyone in our graduating class. It's hard to think of something so relevant throughout the 18 or 19 years that we have experienced on this planet. Especially with society today, something in Especially with society today, something can only be around for a maximum of 2 weeks before people start seeing it as a blast from the past. As a class, we have been fortunate enough to be at the forefront of many fads and cultural areas, such as memes, slang words, and dances. Because of this, I thought it would be interesting to take a look back at what trends impacted our class the most. So what better way would there be to celebrate the class of 2020 than with 20 cultural events and symbols that help make us who we are? Now, the next 20 items aren't in any particular order. I just think they give a good representation of what made an impact on the class we were growing up. So first things first, as humans, we're all different and unique in our own different ways. That is similar to a fad that we had in elementary school with these rubber bands, bracelets with silly bands. Silly bands were bracelets that came in the shape of things such as dinosaurs, cars, food, etc. While silly bands were quite different, there was a spot for every shape and size of the band, and the more you had, the cooler it was. Our class is similar because the world would be better off when many of us contribute rather than having just one of us. Just like silly bands, we are all unique, but there's a place for each and every one of us as we move on to bigger things in life. While real life is bigger than a homework assignment, any high schooler will know how daunting it feels when a teacher assigns a massive assignment or project. An example would be a college comp 10-page research paper over a single topic. And shout out to Mrs. Bohr for that one. Regardless of what assignment it was, I'm willing to bet that all students have made a face that represents the phrase, "Are you being serious?" Like this man right here. While this man has no name and says very little, he represents more emotion than most people realize. Homework may be daunting, but that did not stop our class from persevering through loads of our schoolwork, which is exactly like how we persevered to top our personal best in the short-lived game Flappy Bird. This game might not be familiar with everyone in the room, but trust me, many psychotic episodes occur from this game stemming from things like, "Dude, there's no way I touched that pipe," or "Come on, man, quit staring at my phone, you're messing me up," along with countless other excuses for us being terrible at the game. Either way, our classes learn to persevere through countless other challenges that go beyond a simple iPhone game. Losing 1 point before your high school may be very sad, but not as sad as some of us may be feeling right now about leaving high school, or even as sad as Michael Jordan was feeling during his Hall of Fame introduction speech. Now, to be honest, Jordan was probably crying both tears of joy and sadness. However, we can feel both happy and sad as well. We should be happy that we have accomplished the next big step in our lives, but also be sad that we are leaving behind many memories that we may never forget, both good and bad. Many people have different opinions on if being incredibly busy during school is either a good or bad thing. However, I'm guessing that at some point, every member of our class had a day where he or she had 5 assignments due, or maybe he or she had 3 assignments due in a game that night. Those situations may make it seem that our lives are burning around us as we speak, but 4 years of that situation happening over and over again has made us completely unfazed by that stress, to the point where we can just say, "This is fine." While this image is clearly over-exaggerating my point, it just goes to show that high school can be stressful for students sometimes. In order to combat the stress that high school may cause, our class had to learn to unwind sometimes, relax, and clear our minds. For a short while, the best way to do that was to fidget, with the appropriately named fidget spinner. These things were the best way for someone to regain focus and relax for a bit, while it spun for what felt like forever. However, relaxing and taking some time to refocus does not just apply to school. Life can be stressful, and it is important for our class to realize that we need to slow down and take our time occasionally. Like Ferris Bueller once said, life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. Stopping and looking around at life can often be looked at from a metaphorical standpoint. But our class took it pretty literally when we all decided that we needed to go out and explore the world, looking for every Pokemon that we could find in Pokemon Go. People were hunting for Pokemon, were riding in cars, traveling on buses, and simply walking around with friends. While catching them all may sound like a life-altering experience, frequent users of Pokemon Go had to practice good self-control, as looking at your phone instead of what's in front of you could lead to devastating consequences, such as getting run over by a car, walking into a light pole, strolling into a yard with a rabid dog, and more. Other aspects of our life where good self-control was needed was when the world was hypnotized by the forbidden fruit. And no, I am not talking about an apple, I'm talking about Tide Pods. Yes, you heard me correctly. For some reason, many people decided that instead of being used to wash clothes, Tide Pods should be used as a substitute for your midnight bag of Doritos. I would have to guess that the public's excuse for this wacky behavior would be, well, if they didn't want people to eat them, then they wouldn't make them look like giant gushers. Luckily, our class had our heads on tight enough to realize that eating laundry detergent probably isn't a good idea. We can control what we eat, however, we cannot control how fast the weekend goes. Nothing feels worse than finishing the school week on Friday and then blinking, only for it to be Monday right when you open your eyes. I'm sure many of us have groaned in disgust on waking up on a Monday, which is why I have a clip of actual audio of what it would sound like if you could hear the groans of our entire class on waking up on Monday morning. Many of you in the audience may be unfamiliar with the duck army shown on the slide, but our class knows these 7-second clips all too well. The youth of today want to be TikTok famous, but our class all wanted to be Vine famous. Vine was simply an app used to post a 7-second clip of people trying to be funny. When Vine was in its heyday, it may have only taken one funny video to make someone's day. That aspect of mine is something that our class should take to heart. It might only take a few seconds to make someone's day better, and I hope you pursue that idea of improving the lives of other people as we leave high school and hit the world like a hurricane towards Hilo. As our class comes to terms that we are going to have to enter the real world and become actual adults, it makes me realize how fast high school goes. It's honestly super confusing, almost as confused as this one right here. This image perfectly captures how most people feel about the passage of time in high school. It also captures how most of us felt about the math classes in high school. Math was hard already, and then they had to go and slap the alphabet in there just for the fun of it. Well, there are plenty of ways to get help during school. Sometimes you just have to look at yourself for some answers. How are you supposed to look at yourself, you might ask? Well, just do what Spider-Man does. Occasionally, it is best to just point a finger at yourself and tell yourself, I got this, for a little extra motivation. Because at the end of the day, it is up to you to push yourself in the right direction in order to be successful. The art of self-motivation may seem like something that is easy to accomplish, but our class is also in a constant battle with the non-productive side of our brain. Just like Kermit in this picture, the class of 2020 always has to resist the temptation of procrastination. Sure, completing something the night before it is due can be quite exhilarating, but we all know that doing something earlier is usually better in the long run. Hopefully our class uses the pain and suffering we cause ourselves by procrastinating to make better decisions about getting stuff done in the future. Now, we may like to think that our procrastination issues will fade away as we get older, but let's be real. That problem is something that's going to be around forever. Another thing that has seemed to be around forever is everyone's favorite nautical sea creature, SpongeBob SquarePants. Introduced in 1999, SpongeBob has still remained to be a cultural icon to this day. Along with the show itself came many iconic memes that are all too relatable to our class, such as this one about the joy of taking notes, or this one about how easy tests are, or even memes about mocking the teacher. SpongeBob has been a relevant icon throughout most of the lives of my classmates and me. Hopefully our class has that same impact on the world and becomes a group of people that is relevant for years to come. Even though SpongeBob has left a mostly positive impact on the world beyond today, not all things have such a positive impact. Specifically, I'm talking about the fact that most of the last half of our senior year was cut short by COVID-19. While it may not be a positive thing to think about, COVID-19 potentially had the greatest impact on the senior class as well as the rest of the world. Our class was unable to experience a normal end of the year, which is something most seniors look forward to from the beginning of the school year. However, instead of being devastated and throwing out any idea of a pleasant senior year, we were confident throughout all of this and battled through every obstacle in order to make it to this day. In order to make it through this COVID-19 pandemic, we need to have the right mentality. And I believe there was one person that modeled the perfect mental attitude for our class. As many of you know, Kobe Bryant was tragically killed in a helicopter accident this January. While he touched many of us with artistry and playing the court, he also showed us what it is like to possess Mamba mentality. Mamba mentality is essentially a mindset where you constantly try and become the best version of yourself and not let anyone stand in the way of your goals. That mindset is something that the class of 2020 had to show in order to grit through what seemed to be one of the most challenging years, both in school and in the real world. Now, COVID-19 is definitely not the greatest thing we have experienced as a group, but our class may be the GOAT, or greatest of all time, for battling through it. That acronym is something that has caught on during the past few years and is used to describe virtually anything at this point. Whether you use it to describe your Michael Jordans, Tom Brady's, or Babe Ruth's, doesn't matter. What does matter is that our class, after finishing what may be the most awkward senior year of all time, is at least somewhat considered to be the GOAT of all high school classes. Now that our class is finally graduating, we need some way to acknowledge our accomplishments. Much like how Cam Newton celebrated his touchdowns, we also deserve the opportunity to celebrate our graduation with an unfortunate dance that was way too relevant for way too long. Dab. As cringy as it seems now, it was hard to find anyone that didn't throw up a dab after doing something cool back when we were just freshmen. Fortunately, dabbing is no longer cool, but we need other ways to celebrate our success and share it with others. At this point, I think we all know how most people share most of their exciting life stories with others. So with social media. While many people don't always look at social media in a positive light, it allows us to share our experiences with others and stay connected even when we're apart. Social media also allows us to share our graduation experience with people that cannot be in the gym with us today. The class of 2020 has been through so much, and I think it is awesome that we are easily able to share our excitement with others. I believe it is important for the class of 2020 to share our success with others, but we also need to focus on ourselves and realize that this is our moment. Sometimes it's good to capture a moment yourself and really appreciate what you've done on your own. In order to truly understand what our class has accomplished during high school, we are going to have to take a look at it by ourselves. Ease. Selfies have dominated our photo streams in recent years, but I think that they have a better message than what is seen on the surface. The idea of a selfie represents the fact that while the support and recognition from others feels rewarding and important, it is just as important to capture the moment yourself and look at it in first person. At the end of the day, this graduation is our class's achievement, and it is important that we give ourselves as much credit as the many people that graciously helped us along the way. As our class eventually comes to the realization that we are leaving behind a special high school experience full of good, bad, and flat-out weird memories, I'm sure that we'll always remember many of the cultural memes, dances, and fads that affected who we are as a graduating class. In closing, at the beginning of the speech, I mentioned that it is good to put things in perspective sometimes. This event is no different. We only get to graduate high school once, so it is essential that we take in the moment and see it clearly, as we will never be able to experience this in the same way again. While this commencement may represent only a small footnote in the rest of our lives, our journey that led us to this moment represents a big step towards our path to the real world. The class of 2020 is truly one of a kind, and not many people will be able to say that their high school graduation was as unique as ours. However, I don't think our unique experience will hinder our vision of the future. Our class is finally ready to move on to bigger and better things, and hopefully we're able to see our lives in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020, thank you.
As the class of 2020, our year started off like any other senior year. We came back for one final year of high school, and we were spending time with our friends. Time passed, and before we knew it, it was the second semester. By February, we heard of what was happening in the world. Then in March, we found ourselves in the middle of a global pandemic, and our plans for the near future got turned upside down overnight. But we will not let that stop us from finding success. We have seen uncertainty in the world our entire lives. We were born in the shadow of 9/11 and the threat of terrorism. We started elementary school when we saw the effects of the 2008 financial crisis in the world around us. During junior high, we started hearing more and more about mass shootings across the country, and we began participating in lockdown drills. Now, we are living through a global pandemic and seeing calls for racial equality play out across the United States. As we begin to enter this new and changed world, we know that we will find success. We have had amazing friends, families, teachers, coaches, and other people guiding us along the way, ensuring that we have the best possible knowledge and skill set to get through anything life throws at us. The hard work and commitment of these people has been greatly appreciated. Now as we start the next chapter of our lives, we will think back on our time spent here. We will recall the good and bad times we've had, the early mornings and late nights, the classes we enjoyed and the ones we did not, and the extracurricular activities we participated in. We will remember the friendships and connections that were gained and the ones that were lost. We will see that even our regrets and mistakes are memories made. We will also reflect on what we have learned over the years and use it along our journey after high school. We will soon see that what we have been taught and what we have witnessed growing up in now these past few months has prepared us to handle just about anything life can throw at us. We will be able to find success despite any obstacles that might get in our way. We are the Riceville class of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Sully and Kevin. At this time, we will have our commencement speaker, Bryce Conway, at the podium. Bryce Conway has been teaching and coaching at Riceville Community School District for 17 years. He has coached over 50 seasons of junior high and high school athletics, along with being the athletic director for the past 10 years. He is also the current K-12 physical education teacher, and in the past has taught freshman health, senior health, and was a guidance counselor for 1 year. Bryce is married to Amanda Conway, the Riceville Family and Consumer Science teacher, and has 4 children, Danon 10, Harlan 8, Miles 5, and Davis 2. Please give me a warm welcome for Mr. Conway.
Nice job, Sully and Kevin. It is an honor to be the speaker for the class of 2020. Before I get to that, I just want to say what a joy it has been for me to see you, the class of 2020, grow and mature through the years. I've been here 17 years, and many of you were born within the first year I was at Riceville. From the first moment I began teaching and coaching at Riceville, this job hasn't been a job at all, but more a passion to do my best to serve you, the students, the parents, and the community of Riceville. At times I think I did pretty well, and at times I had to self-reflect. I love the teaching I've been able to do and have enjoyed coaching over 50 seasons, 52 to be exact, like Mrs. Huber said, in my 17 years. Many students and athletes have impacted me in a positive way, and I hope that I've impacted them in a small way as well, including you, the class of 2020. Education is truly a mentally exhausting career, but is unmatched in terms of personal fulfillment and being intrinsically rewarding. I started typing this speech last night at 11 p.m., and my wife can attest to that. I had an idea of what I wanted to say and have been rehearsing it in my head the past 2 weeks at various times. If it wasn't for Cassandra at the Riceville Recorder wanting a typed version for the newspaper, I probably wouldn't have even typed it at all, and just came up here with a pink absence slip with notes on it like I generally do for our banquets. This made Barb Gazelle pretty upset when she had a typed, well thought out speech and I just had a little slip of paper with scribbles on it. I'm guessing none of you as graduates have waited until the last minute to write a paper or study for a test, so you wouldn't understand my procrastination to type the speech. In all seriousness, I thought it would be tacky and lazy of me to talk about how you're born in the year of the 9/11 Trade Center attack, and now we're graduating in the year that will be known as the COVID-19 epidemic. That's already been said, and I assumed it would be. Arguably the 2 most life-changing events of my lifetime, and for most people around my age, your parents. I think all of us can sympathize with you in regards to how your senior year ended and missing out on the last 3 months of your senior year. Through all the uncertainties that COVID brought, I am thankful that we are here today to honor you as a graduating class of 2020. However, I'm guessing that some of you are thankful for the COVID epidemic, as getting emergency credit was possibly better than getting to take final exams, finish projects, and or dig yourself out of some pretty low grade percentages back in March, which seems like an eternity ago. If your life was a book, today officially ends a chapter. That chapter has been made, typed, and printed. In life, we have moments that lead to new moments, timelines of our life, chapters of our life. This is the end of your Riceville Community School District chapter, but a new chapter is coming. One that your parents, family, faculty, and the Riceville community is confident and hopeful that we have collectively prepared you for. The goal of education should be to help you find your passion and be the best you can be at whatever that passion entails. In essence, to light a fire rather than fill a bucket. In my opinion, Alfred North Whitehead defined this best as education should turn out the pupil with something he knows well and something he can do well. All of you have strengths and things you enjoy doing. Now it is up to you to unlock where that will take you for your future self. We would be doing you a disservice if we prepared the road for you rather than prepare you for the road ahead. No one knows what that next chapter will look like and how your book will continue to develop, but one thing is for certain. You and only you will choose how that book gets written from here on out. You undoubtedly been influenced the past 18 years by your parents, family members, Riceville staff, your peers, and community members. Now you truly have an opportunity to think for yourself, quote unquote. Those of you who have taken character development leadership would have heard me say that many times. And use all that influence to make it your own in your next chapters of your book. I vividly can remember how I felt 22 short years ago sitting in your chair during my graduation with a mixture of emotions including joy, sorrow, loneliness, uncertainty, excitement, and nervousness. Now at the ripe age of 40, I can say one thing that I think all adults in the room can agree with. Cherish these moments, as you never know when the good old days are happening right as you speak. In essence, sometimes in life you never know when the one chapter will end and another chapter begins, until after it has happened. Unfortunately, I can guarantee you that today will be the last time all of you are together in the same room as a class of 2020. To go along with this, I recently read a tweet from Mrs. Schwaman that was a quote from Shelby Kondo. Life changes so quickly. We can be happy one day, empty and broken the next. If we learn anything during this pandemic, I hope it is to value the moments, treasure the moments, and hold on to what counts. Make time each day to realize how fleeting life is and to thank God for each blessing. Maybe this pandemic will teach us to slow down, appreciate what we have, and how quickly it can be gone. My prayer is that it will. Life is a gift. End of quote. I bring up that tweet as I want to leave you with 4 thoughts that may help you live the life you're envisioning for yourself. Before I begin, I do not believe I'm the smartest person in the room, nor do I want to be. However, I have a gift and a curse of being very self-reflective while trying to live a very fun, purposeful life. I think that at times we as humans sweat the small stuff too much. That's probably why my wife and I make a good team, as I try not to get too worked up about much, and she gives me some much-needed reality checks, which is also why I sleep out with the dog some nights. Usually deservedly so. My first thought comes from a book titled The Coffee Bean by John Gordon that was recently borrowed to me by Mrs. Grimm. The main point of the book is when life gets tough, you have choices to make in terms of your responses to that adversity. And when I say when life gets tough, believe me that if life for you thus far has been butterflies and rainbows, there will be adversity coming. The book uses the analogy of how hot water affects a carrot, egg, and coffee bean. Here are the cliff notes. A carrot. If you boil a carrot, it softens and weakens with its environment, and ultimately it is impacted by the conditions it was in. If you react like a carrot in hot water when engaging with your adversity, you will believe the power and forces outside you are more powerful than who you are on the inside, and you will become weaker. An egg. Hot water causes the egg to harden. The egg is hardened by the environment it is in. If you react like an egg during times of adversity, you will believe the negativity in the world has the power to harden your heart and cause you to become negative, like the world is surrounding you. This could cause a person to become mean, angry, negative, sometimes numb to what's going on, or hate life and people in general. And finally, the coffee bean. Hot water causes the coffee bean to transform to be the environment it is in and become coffee. When you become the coffee bean during adversity, you have the power to transform any environment you are in, and no matter how hard things get or how hopeless things look, you don't give up. Realize we don't create our world from the outside in, but rather we create and transform it from the inside out. Life is often like a pot of hot water. It can be harsh, stressful, and a difficult place. You'll find yourself in environments and facing conditions that test who you really are and can change you if you let them. It can cause you to weaken like the carrot or harden like the egg. But you have a choice to choose to be a coffee bean rather than the carrot or the egg. You can choose to not allow the outside world to impact you. During times of despair, there are good things that can happen as well. Acts of humanity often are shown during the worst of times. Remember that acts of kindness, love, enthusiasm, patience, and a positive attitude are also contagious. Don't wait to catch it from others. Be the carrier and be the coffee bean. You can be the coffee bean effectively by believing in yourself, having positive self-talk, surrounding yourself with positive people, having an attitude of gratitude, and choosing to be happy rather than seeking happiness. To sum up being a coffee bean would be to realize that every minute you are giving off positive or negative energy, and the secret to life and the greatest success strategy of all is to love everything you do and everyone who is important in your life while fearing nothing. Every moment is an opportunity to choose how you want to live and how you perceive events in your life. Your perception is reality, and every obstacle or adversity you will face can be viewed as a challenge or a threat. By choosing to be challenged, you are setting yourself up for future success. Somewhat similar to that is my second thought, the power of choice. Right now I'll give each member of you, the class of 2020, a choice. I can tell that I'm losing you a little bit. That's why it's great to be the third speaker, I guess. And you can feel that as when you're in the front of the room. Would you rather take $1 million or take a single penny and double it every day for 30 days? Raise your hand if you take the $1 million. Good, you guys listen well in character development leadership. Awesome. Most of you knew the answer, if I did a good job of getting your attention that day. If you take a single penny and double it every day, by day 30, you'll have $5.3 million. That's obviously a better choice than taking the $1 million. In describing the power of choice, I cannot do it better than former Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz, who said, life is a matter of making choices. Wherever you are in life, good or bad, and wherever you are is because of the choices you made. Many of you read Man's Search for Meaning in class with me about Viktor Frankl's experiences in a concentration camp. The entire book was about finding purpose in everything you do. Life is not about trying to find yourself, it is about trying to create yourself. The question you need to ask yourself, if you haven't already, is what do I want my future to look like? How can I make that happen? Am I willing to do the things necessary to make that happen? Only you can answer those questions. Your parents, teachers, and friends can influence you, but ultimately you decide. And at any moment, You can change, for the better or worse. In life, your only limitations are your time, imagination, and courage, and you can control all of them. Nobody is born with their destiny stamped on their forehead. That's the beauty of life. You have the opportunity to change your life at any moment. If you feel like you're on the right path now, stay with it. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are helping you become the best version of yourself and ultimately the person you want to become, keep them in your inner circle. If you feel like you need to make changes, then choose to do it. But it is your choice. If your habits don't reflect your dreams and goals, then change your habits, period. Or change your dreams and goals. The life you want and you're dreaming of right now doesn't happen by accident. It happens by intentional, small, daily choices that will lead you to the path that you're wanting to go on. Genetics shape you, circumstances influence you, but your choices define you. And every day you wake up, you have a choice. The third thought I have for you to consider is investing your time versus spending your time. Investment of time is like investing money in a bank. You can never take out more than what you put in. Time is a great equalizer for all of us. We all have 24 hours in a day to do what we choose. If nothing else, I have a new appreciation through COVID that relationships are vital to us as humans. A lack of intentional, purposeful conversations with you as students negatively affected me on a personal level. That's true. Invest time with those you care about, whether it be family, friends, or relatives. Invest time in personal improvement. An investment in time will lead to a return in the end that is greater than when you started. That's the investment. When you spend time on meaningless things, it is time wasted, gone forever. The easiest way to describe the concept of time investment to you is to always be where your feet are and be present. As the past is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. Unpopular opinion for anyone over 40 would be that Ferris Bueller's Day Off is an overrated movie. Sully already said this, thanks Sullivan. But there's a line in there that has always stuck with me. Sometimes life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you're going to miss it. For your parents who are here today, I'm sure they would agree that not too long ago you were just starting kindergarten, and in what seems like the blink of an eye you were graduating. Simply put, you will never regret investing time in those you care about and love. And life is too short not to have some fun along the way. But while doing that, take time to invest intentionally in things that will help you be successful in whatever career path you choose. This leads to and ties into my last thought, which I hopefully been hearing me and listening to the message. Every day of your life, you have a blank canvas, so you have an opportunity to paint. On that canvas, you can add as much detail as you choose, the amount and variety of colors, and how much life you ultimately put into that canvas. Wasn't expecting this. Tying everything together that I've previously said, you choose how much purpose you have, how you invest your time to that canvas, and how you react to the things and people around you that can take away from painting your canvas. And ultimately, when your head hits the pillow every night, be able to tell yourself that was a great, productive day. The important thing to remember is we never know how many canvases we get to paint, as you are well aware. None of us knew that our last normal school day was going to be March 13th. If we knew that, we would have embraced and enjoyed our last week together much differently. And not just allowed it to be another day. In terms of living a great day every day, the great UCLA basketball coach John Wooden explained very simply that success is a peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction knowing you made the effort to become the best of which you are capable. In essence, if you can maximize each day with utmost focus and when your goals and dreams match out with what is happening in your life, that is success. And I encourage you to live that way. When you consistently stack good days upon good days, you're leading a fulfilling life, and one that you can take ownership of and be proud of. It's not always going to be easy, but it will be worth it. The word authenticity comes from the Greek word meaning author. How you write, you're the author of your story, and how you choose to paint your canvas are authentic to you and chosen by you. This life you're about to embark on is an opportunity, not a threat, and I challenge you to attack it every day with purpose. I'm not saying that being able to see into the future with a telescopic lens isn't important, as you want to have a vision of what you want to do and accomplish. But you need to have a microscopic lens and take care of what is important right now in front of you, in the present, by stacking good days and making your vision reality. In essence, the action of doing is more important than your words and what you want to do. In closing, graduates, after commencement, I have a gift for you. It's in a little bag. The first item is a $1 bill to remind you to invest your time in things you enjoy, personal improvement, and most importantly, in strengthening relationships with those you care about. Another item is a penny to remind you that the power to choose your destiny, similar to choosing the penny, doubled over 30 times, or 30 days, sorry. There's also a coffee bean to help you remember that when adversity happens, become the coffee bean rather than the carrot or the egg, and you know that the power inside you is greater than the forces outside you to be able to transform your environment and world from the inside out. Lastly is a paintbrush to remind you that every day is an opportunity to paint a canvas with as much or as little detail and color as you choose, and you do choose it. All of you are unique, special in your own way. You're cared for by people who are here and people who are unable to be here today. Do not forget that there is only one of you, and you have the power to choose your future. This can seem daunting, but life does not have to be complicated if you abide by the principles I've discussed. Be kind. Dream as big as your work ethic will take you. Surround yourself with positive people, and choose to be happy, as happiness is ultimately a choice each of us makes every day as it does not choose us. The one thing missing out of this bag is a cup of sugar, as life should be sweet, fun, and live with zest. It has been my pleasure to be the Class of 2020 commencement speaker, and I hope that I've made a small positive impact of each of your lives, as I know each of you has positively impacted me. I wish you the best from this day forward. I encourage you to represent your family and the Riceville community in a positive manner, and always remember that you are forever a Wildcat. Congratulations, COVID-19 Class of 2020.
I'd like to take a moment to thank some people who have made this day possible. First, Mr. Evans and his custodial staff for their extra work in preparing the building and grounds for our ceremony today. Mr. Conway and Mr. Fair and their crew for setting up the stage. Mrs. Dolman and the Student Council for the planning and organizing and making our senior awards video and helping to prepare for graduation. Mrs. Green and Mrs. Jeffries and our senior sponsors, Mrs. Bauer, Mrs. Fair, and Mrs. Smith, for helping with graduation and other senior items. Our faculty and staff who have helped with these young adults for the past 13 years to prepare for this moment. And our senior parents and community for all of the support you have shown these graduates along their journey into becoming the fine ladies and gentlemen they are today. You may have noticed some students wearing cords today. The gold cords are for students who have achieved a cumulative grade point average of 3.7 or above. If you are wearing a gold cord, will you please stand to be recognized? The purple cords are for community service. These students have completed 20 or more service hours. Please stand and be recognized if you have completed these community service hours and are wearing a purple cord today. Students who have participated in 12 plus athletic seasons are wearing our red and black athletic cords. Will these students please stand to be recognized at this time? Members of the National Honor Society are wearing an NHS stole. These students may also be wearing a red cord, meaning they either gave blood or donated their time at the blood drive. Please stand to be recognized at this time. Members of FFA are wearing an FFA stole. These members have participated in FFA during high school. Will you please stand to be recognized? Now it is my honor to present the senior class to the board. Board members, families, and guests, by the authority vested in me, I hereby present to you the class of 2020. These students have met all the requirements set forth by the Riceville Board of Education in the state of Iowa. They are therefore eligible to receive their diplomas, which is symbolic of this accomplishment. Before I ask the students to come forward to receive their diplomas, I ask that the audience please be respectful to each student and hold their applause until everyone has been announced. Each family deserves to be able to hear the name of their child read. Thank you. Gabriella Beatrice Ball. Allie May Bigley. Joshua Lee Brown. Christopher Keith Eastman. Sullivan Frederick Bayer. Andrea Elizabeth Grunwald. Kaylin Jean Jensen. Haynes Madison Johnson. Kevin William Jordan. Dawson Stephen Eugene Capris. Olivia Aspen Healy. Brody Paul Canings. Mercedes Anastasia Lesmeister. Judge Foster Losey. April Lynn Percival. Dawson Daryl Grant. Keaton James Shane. Sierra K. Sullivan. Hannah Lynn Sunness. Tanner Dean Swenson. Sophia Amanda Everman Weaver. Will the class of 2020 please stand and face the audience? It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the graduating class of 2020.